This is a question about the Violence Against Women Act. The Senate version of the Violence Against Women Act included language that addressed increased protections for women on college campuses, including reporting domestic violence, date rape, and stalking. It extended the ability of tribal courts to prosecute non-Indian men who commit acts of violence against women on the tribal reservations, protections for immigrant women, many of whom are here to escape the abuse that they're under, regardless of their status, and non-discriminatory support for the LGBT community, of which 45% of that community, 45% of the victims in that community were turned away when they sought assistance from a domestic violence shelter. Nearly 55% of those LGBT folks who filed for protection orders were denied them. The version of this bill that was passed by the House of Representatives was stripped of these new protections, as well as some that existed under the current law. Why did you limit your support of this bill and exclude these specific groups of women, and don't all women deserve to be protected equally by this bill?
I think you'll find that most of those provisions were put back into the conference report. That's the way it works. The House passes, exercises their will. The Senate passes, exercises their will when it comes to the all bills, including the Violence Against Women Act, which is an incredibly important bill. And in the end, I was proud to support it. Voted yes.
But with the stripped down provisions is what you support. That's what I'm asking. Why?
No, it was those provisions were put back in a conference report and passed and were enacted into law. Richard.
So the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act was passed in 2013. However, there was a bill in 2012 that was written by Cantor and Adams in the House, because the Senate pushed through their own bill that was a reauthorization with updates. The 2012 bill that was in the House, however, amongst other issues that you listed, authorized the Department of Homeland Security to go knocking on the door of an alleged abuser and inform him that he was accused of abuse. Anybody who has ever experienced domestic violence or known someone who has knows that the worst thing you can do is notify an alleged abuser that an allegation has been made before protection is put in place for a woman. Congressman Thompson voted for that version of the bill. So I thank him for voting for the version of the bill that came through in 2013, but it makes me wonder whether he would have been okay with the previous version in 2012. And in all fairness, all the Republicans in the House did. So my question is, how committed are we to protect women from domestic violence? We just saw what happened with the NFL, right? This has become a national conversation about protecting women and men from domestic violence. There should not be a cutoff. There should not be how do we determine who we protect? Are we now looking for classes to protect? It's about protecting women. And any bill that would authorize our government to put a woman at risk, because we know when women, the increased chance of them being harmed or killed happens after they leave. That's what the Violence Against Women Act is meant to do, is help them leave safely. And yet, the bill that was passed through the House and stopped in the Senate would have allowed our government to put those women further at risk. I can't make sense of that in any way, shape, or form. So I'm pleased the final version passed, but I'm also somewhat horrified that there was a chance that that provision would have gotten through. Thank you.